Today, Vitaly and I are going to inject ourselves in the middle of some beef. Shout out to Constrain who posted this. Can we just take a second to appreciate Warren Redlich's insane thumbnail abilities?
It's great 1980s graphics, but still it conveys the message.
It's artistic. It's funny. I would click it.
Yeah, I did.
And I did
click it. We're going to respond to Warren Redlich's response of Ben Sullins' video.
We're like the neutral corner.
Yeah, we're the middle. So we are discussing it in Discord. So guys, join us, check it out. Obviously, like and subscribe and do the Patreon thing. It's only $1.
Hey, this is Warren Redlich. A lot of people asked me to address a video by Ben Sullins. Ben Sullins is a much beloved Tesla YouTuber. People have loved this guy for a long time. Yes, I'm being slightly sarcastic. He just released a video that was very, very critical of Tesla and Elon Musk, and I wanted to address some points in his video. I want to start with this remarkable piece of work by Ben.
And like I said, I'm a huge supporter of Tesla. I'm a huge fan of Tesla. I love their products. I just wish their company was better. And because of all those reasons, it is really hard for me to recommend anyone buy a Tesla right now. It's not a place I want to be. I'm a huge fan. I love their products. I think they're world-changing, they're life-changing. These are amazing things that I want everyone to see and experience. But because they make low-quality products, because you can't trust them, and because Elon is a maniac that is an easy guy to hate, I don't see a lot of people buying all, letting all those things go just because it has an iPad strapped to the middle of the dashboard.
What the hell was that? The guy's all over the map. He said, I'm a Tesla fan, but I can't recommend their products because they're awesome products, but it's just an iPad on a dashboard. The guy made absolutely no sense there. This is a fear that I actually have as a YouTuber. That I think what's happened to Ben Sullins, what's happened to some other YouTubers, and I got criticized for my criticism of another couple of YouTubers recently, is it goes to our heads. That we start to think we are more important than we really are. That we start to think because I make YouTube videos and I have these fans that I somehow know more about Tesla than Elon does. And that's what you're seeing here with Ben Sullins, is somehow he became too important. In his own mind, he thinks he's more important than the company. So one of the things that you'll catch for me is I'm often trying to explain what Elon means or what Zach Kirkhorn or Drew Baglino means, what the company is doing. I don't think I ever start talking to Tesla about this is what you guys should do. You guys don't know what you're doing. And Ben in this video is accusing Elon of being a liar. He trashes Elon's character left and right, says Elon doesn't know what's going on at his own company. Same thing that a couple other YouTubers said about Elon recently, but I caught heat for that. So I just want to be clear. I know Ben is less popular than the other two guys I was critical of, but it's the same flaw.
By the way, he's talking about Now You Know guys. Mm-hmm. So, because he also had some beef with them because they released a video. Anyway, I think we can discuss it at this point. What do you think about first what Ben Sullins had said, if you remember what he said?
If you're keeping score at home, that's 1-0 Warren.
Yeah, I agree. We should have that 1-0.
Actually, yeah, no, we're going to keep score. That's 1-0 Warren. I think he's absolutely correct. I agree with everything that he said. If you know that you're reaching a much larger audience, I think your responsibility to make sure that what you're saying is accurate, truthful to the best of your knowledge is more important. I think that what Ben did in that video was irresponsible. You can say what you want as your opinion, but saying things about that company and stating them as if they're facts, they make low quality vehicles and that they can't be trusted. Those are massive accusations. You have to back that up.
I do want to respond to that because they don't make low quality products. They make super high quality products. This is 100% accurate. They make high quality products. Right. Whether they repair those products in a timely manner is what we're going to get to, but that's an issue. It has nothing to do with the quality of the car. There is no better product than a Tesla. I didn't buy that because I love Elon. I didn't spend $60,000 on Elon. I spent $60,000 because the car is amazing. Then he goes on to say that I love their products. So you love low quality products now? So this whole first thing, totally dead in the water.
Right, yeah,
1-0 Warren.
I love Warren's little like push-ins. You know, he's got those like dramatic.
That was funny.
So, okay, full self-driving is, I'll just say it is a complete disaster and could absolutely tank the entire company.
Full self-driving has not delivered what was promised years ago. I think it's getting quite close. I actually just had a really good experience with FSD beta today, where it navigated an intersection it was having problems with before. It's getting better. Ben doesn't really understand. This is one of the problems with critics of FSDs. They don't really understand what FSD is doing, what Tesla is doing to make FSD better. He doesn't even care. I don't understand.
I want to stop it here because they've already said so much. So let's go and discuss.
All right. So what do you think?
Yeah, this is crazy. Okay. Tesla's not tanking anytime soon. So this is ridiculous. Like, forget about the stock price. I'm not talking about that right now, even though that's off to the moon at this point. Okay. We're 20x from when we started 2 years ago at this point. They are making high quality products. They've sold out for almost the entire 2022. The facts say they are not going anywhere no matter what FSD does. I'm actually that kind of person where I'm not bullish on FSD. 2030 maybe. I'm thinking that's fine. Tesla's going to do absolutely gangbusters for the next 10 years. Has nothing to do with FSD. Not going to do anything. Not going to tank them. Not going to ruin their stock. And if it hits them even 1 minute, it'll be like 1 minute, buy the dip, back off to the race.
It's important to know all of the Wall Street analysts that have target prices of 1,600, 18, they're not factoring in FSD. Only Kathy 100%. Woods is factoring in FSD. Right. The street is thinking it's going to be $1,500-$1,600, and he thinks this company is going to. What did he say? FSD is a complete disaster and will tank.
It's going to tank the company.
Tank the entire company. He's obviously someone that cannot compute the drastic change in functionality that a vehicle has when it's suddenly autonomous.
I'm saying it doesn't even matter if FSD is a real thing. It will not affect Tesla in the short term at all.
I just keep attacking his inaccuracies because those are things that he should know better. He's outing himself as either a liar because he's saying this knowing it's untrue, or that he was nowhere near as researched on the company or understanding what the company really was this whole time. If I'm missing some other option, guys, please comment below. But I hear someone like that say that, and that's what I think.
So I'm going to talk about Warren for a second because immediately he started being the apologizer and discussing how he doesn't get FSD. I'm sorry, but this is where I go to the other side a bit. Even though Warren won that one, it's 2-0 in my opinion.
All right, 2-0. Bing.
It's still 2-0, but the point is that Warren shouldn't be apologizing for FSD in any way. Look, if it doesn't come out now for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, Tesla's not going anywhere. Like, that's the main problem of that little part that Ben is saying that it's going to implode. Yes. One thing has nothing to do with the other. FSD can fail, and Tesla's not going to implode.
What I think Warren was saying was those of us that are bullish on it and understand its role in the future of the company understand that it's been delayed, but it's a really hard problem, and it's going to take some time to do it.
He didn't put it the way you put it, by the way. He's not putting it the way you're saying it right now. You're saying it in a much more rational way. He's saying like Ben Sullins is so stupid that he doesn't understand what FSD is.
That's a statement where either you are saying it knowing it's untrue, or you're purposefully ignoring what you know because it lines up with this thesis that you have that is now negative on the company. You said it earlier. You said it's the spin.
I want actual facts from any of these guys, and Warren won this one, so let's just move on. 2-0 in my opinion.
Let's listen to some more.
And today there are more people than ever that have paid up to $10,000 for something that doesn't work. And I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say is not going to work for a long time to come. Sorry if you thought it was coming this or last or next year, whenever you thought it might be coming. Well, what happens then? What happens when the settlement for the next lawsuit is in the billions of dollars? Well, someone's going to be left holding the bag, and I can guarantee you it won't be the richest man in the world, or at least he won't be the richest man anymore after that lawsuit, I don't imagine.
Oh, did you see that, how he got that cute music in there at the end? So apparently Ben is really badly butthurt about Elon Musk being the richest man in the world, and he has some sort of notion that FSD is going to lead to billions of dollars in lawsuit damages. That's somehow a problem. Now, look, you can't argue that FSD hasn't gotten there as quick as we all hoped. It's not completely true that FSD doesn't provide anything to anyone. There's Navigate on Autopilot, which you get with FSD that you don't get with regular Autopilot. I've driven Navigate on Autopilot, and I thought it was actually pretty good. It's not where we all hoped it would be yet, but they're certainly making progress. And now there's 60,000 FSD beta testers who are using it. And I can say personally, I think it's pretty cool. It's still not there yet, but it's pretty cool and it's getting better. But this notion that there's going to be these lawsuits, he had a reference in his video to some lawsuits where it was like, I don't know, $5 million or $10 million that Tesla had to pay out. This is trivial stuff. And Tesla has probably reworded whatever agreements so that it's more clear that they're not on the hook if they don't deliver FSD on a certain time frame. And people don't get, by the way, that you're not paying $10,000 for FSD. You're paying $10,000 for an option on FSD. Now $12,000 for an option on FSD. FSD, when it's actually delivered, will be worth $100,000. And if you buy it today for $10,000 or $12,000, and it's actually delivered in a year or two, you're getting a tremendous bargain. And And that's the idea when you bought FSD earlier, was you were hoping that you would get this amazing service later that was worth $50,000 or $100,000, and you only paid $5,000 or $7,000 or $8,000 for it.
Once again, I just don't think this man understands, or he's lying or pretending he doesn't understand how difficult these problems are. And the fact that FSD, full self-driving, is not something you can just release on the public. You actually need data. This is a whole new way to create software. You can't just write this software. This machine needs to learn by acquiring data. And up until a few months ago, they had 2,000 or 3,000. Now they have 60,000. So the acceleration of the learning should improve. And so this could be a point where it's just past his knowledge.
I don't think it is. I think he's flipped a switch somewhere, because his previous videos, he knows a lot about Tesla. He's been a bull since 2016
So then what do you think's going on?
I think someone got to him, or a sponsor possibly.
Like Rivian?
Look, I think someone got to him. Maybe he didn't get his, like when you get those subscribers to buy a Tesla, you get points and you're supposed to get a car out of it, a Roadster. So maybe he's like, you know what, F Tesla. I mean, they're not giving me my Roadster, even though I got him a bunch of business. Like, I'm not going to support this company. They're not actually giving me what they promised to give me, which is actually rational. He could be spinning it his own way, talking to his audience and filling them full of BS, basically, and disrespect, because he's sort of pissed.
I agree with Warren's take.
It is 3-0 now, Warren. I do agree there, but I do want to say one thing against Warren. He is putting words in Elon's mouth there again, even though he says he doesn't do that. He's basically saying that, oh, Elon is selling you this 10,000 or 12,000 thing now. That's only to give you an option on it. Maybe one day it'll work, an option. Look.
That's not what he meant. He meant it like
yes, he did.
No, he didn't. He meant it like
it's going to cost 100,000 when it actually comes out. This is an option now for it at 12,000.
The word option in that is like a call option. That's how I see it.
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
As him saying you're buying a call option on it. So it's not like you're not.
Nobody spends 12 grand for a call option on FSD. Yes, the first adopters did. I'm not saying they didn't.
That's what he's saying.
Right now, people are buying it thinking they have some functionality that they're going to be using soon.
All right. Well, I think Warren was making an analogy, and I think what he said, he's totally entitled to say. He's interpreting it and saying this is the thinking behind it. If you bought it at $5 grand, you're buying it because you know in 10 years or whatever from when you bought it and it goes live, you've got $100,000 value to unlock in the vehicle by sending it out. It's a call option on the future. I don't see anything wrong with what he said there.
Okay, I understand a lot of people have bought it the way you're saying it and Warren is saying it, but there's people coming in now behind, not the first adopters. Now we're up to the curve where there's almost the regular people are buying these cars, okay?
Right.
I see them in my neighborhood, some 90-year-old man, he's not looking at like, oh, this is a call option on the future? No, that's not happening. When someone's buying it now, most people, not early adopters like us talking on YouTube all day, they're thinking, oh, Elon is going to make this in a year or two, so it's worth the 10, 12,000 because he keeps telling me it's going to be 100,000, so I'm going to have this in a year or two. Elon never makes it clear that this might not happen until 2030. He's just not saying that. He keeps saying next year.
The difference is I don't think Elon is purposefully misleading people. I think he is optimistic with his timelines, and I really think that he believes he can get it done. You're saying these people are paying money and they're not getting anything. And I'm going to try to break it down the way I think Elon would say, like my interpretation of the pricing structure of the FSD. How I see it is this. Reason why it goes up in value is because every new customer that comes in is helping train the network to make it more possible to achieve full self-driving. So every new person that comes in is actually pushing the day closer when it's actually live. So it needs to get more expensive because the day it's live, we know what it's worth, $100,000. When it's worth $100,000, you get to exercise that $5,000 option on a vehicle that will generate money for you forever. And there's no other way to train the network without having people in vehicles training it. And so Elon needs that. The exchange there is a great buy-in price on a future tech that's going to be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. I see it as a fair exchange. I don't know if that's not clear to other people when they're buying the
I don't think it is. What you're saying, I actually agree with you for the people like us who understand what's going on. But I think there's a whole majority now that doesn't understand and says, oh, this is full self-driving for 12,000. Look at all the things it can do. I want that.
Yeah.
That's worth 12,000. And the thing is, that is worth 12,000 to me. I would put it down today if it got all of those full self-driving things.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do that. But a lot of people, I think, are not thinking along the same lines as everyone watching this video. They're just not.
That's not Tesla's problem, how people are going to take...
It is Tesla's problem. Their messaging is bad in this respect. It is super bullish, and it's always saying this is happening in a year.
How's that any different from anything any CEO or of any company says on earnings calls or says when they speak to investors?
Well, because they're charging you $12,000 for it. That's the difference.
There's companies charging you $20,000 for a crap vehicle.
First of all, there are vehicles that aren't even released, and I would agree to that.
It's like they're
You're
charging
rolling
you
the dice.
Right. So I don't see it as any different. One part I can agree with is when you label it full self-driving, people don't read beyond the headlines and they think I'm buying that. In that sense, I can agree that it is a bit misleading, but anyone that buys something that expensive, that important in your life and doesn't do any research, I think the onus is on the person, not the company, because there's always going to be someone that's not going to get it.
By the way, the onus is on the person as well, because he should have done more homework. But if Elon keeps telling you that it's happening soon or next year, at the end of this year, he actually said in the Q4 call, 2022, we're going to have this working better than a human, which means it's going to be out to more people. I don't know if beta, he said it was going to be over. I'm not sure if he said the beta program is going to be over. I'm not positive. He makes it sound like it's a right around the corner. And as we saw in Ben Sullins' video, it's actually not right around the corner. That's my only beef with Elon here, okay?
But we don't, the thing is, we don't know that. We don't know that for sure. I don't know that for sure.
Even if it's released today, now the states are going to step in and say, well, hold on, Elon. You know that's going to happen. They're going to say,
We're not talking about that. We're not talking about the adaptation.
Right.
We're
That's
talking
a whole
about
different part
can
of it.
you
Okay.
achieve the tech? If you're really buying it and understand what this thing's going to make you, if and when it comes online, the timing of it's not going to matter. Put it like this. There's people waiting 7 months for the car. These are the same people, right, that are used to when you want a car, you go get a car. This idea of ordering a car that you've never driven online and waiting 6, 7, 8, 9 months for it, up to a year, is completely new to people. And this is with the same company that people are that the self-driving isn't out in a year. I just think people are overreacting.
it's 3-0, Warren.
I'd actually give Ben half a point. It's calling it full self-driving. Even though I think it's the onus is on the consumer.
I agree with you. I'll give him half a point.
All right, we're in agreement.
One of the things Tesla did was start an insurance company to provide auto insurance for owners based on their driving habits, but even that has been fraught with problems. And that brings up today's sponsor.
I don't know where he gets that Tesla insurance has fraught with problems. I'm not aware of any problems. I know it just expanded from 1 state to 5 states and expecting to expand to more. Somehow, it seems like the only reason he mentioned Tesla insurance was to lead into the sponsor that he's promoting in his video, which was kind of odd. But there's no substance to his critique of insurance at all. It was just like Ben just throwing in a Tesla insurance is stupid idea out of the blue. And by the way, he uses excessive Tesla imagery during his promotion of his sponsor, which I think is probably a violation of Tesla's publicity rights to be marketing some insurance product that's not Tesla insurance.
Okay, I think this one's an easy one. It's a whole point for Warren.
The whole point. This guy, you cannot make claims like that.
Apple, like Tesla, has values that resonate with people at a deeper level than just the products that they sell. So whenever they go to make a new product, they're almost guaranteed success because the product itself just furthers the mission. It reinforces the belief and that sense of identity that people have in the company. And one of the things Tesla did was start an insurance company to provide auto insurance for owners based on their driving habits, but even that has been fraught with problems. And that brings up today's sponsor, Policy Genius.
Let me just hear what is his point if he has one in this, okay?
Yeah, I don't think he does. He just pivots to the bot. He pivots.
Auto insurance quote and see.
Yeah, okay, so I think we've proven there is actually no data to back up that thing that their insurance is fraught with problems.
Right.
It's not true.
Warren's right that he used it solely as a pivot and then made a false comparison to the Apple Watch and Tesla insurance. Again, he should know better and he should understand that monitoring people's driving habits, having that real-time data is the best way to calculate someone's insurance. And when the cars are full self-driving, there's not going to be any accidents. So the only thing you're going to be insuring is for theft or AAA roadside assistance. Warren goes on in his video to explain that when the car is in full self-driving mode, it is understood that Tesla will be covering any collisions or any damage that happens to the vehicle. So when you're 99.9 or 1,000 times better than a human, and there's millions of these cars on the road, how many insurance claims are you going to have?
Their insurance product has not failed. In fact, they've expanded to 4 or 5 states at this point. No one is complaining about it. He has no data to back it up.
What I'm responding to is the false comparison to the Apple Watch, saying that the Apple Watch came out and furthered the company's mission, and this Tesla insurance doesn't. Then he said it's also fraught with problems, which I'm not even going to get into. He's taking all of this driving data from you. Why should you pay more money for insurance than you have to? He's trying to save you money using the data that your car is generating about your good driving habits.
I thought Ben would have more points by now.
Seriously, man.
Not. All right, this one's going to be a good one. We're going to get into the Tesla Bot.
Oh, man.
Tesla Bot. Listen to this.
That was a real product demonstration, if you can call it that, where Elon promised next year that they would have a working prototype of a humanoid robot doing the Charleston or whatever that was. Why? Why does this matter? What does this have to do with the mission? mission? What exactly even is it? And is it just a person in a dumb suit? Was that his ex-wife or latest wife or his fifth wife? There's so many.
So that's wrong. I just want to stop because he shouldn't be talking about anyone's wife, anyone's ex-wife, pointing out there is Elon hate going on here somewhere that we can't quite put our hands around. You want to add to that, or?
I want to wait for Warren's response.
All right, let's hear it.
None of this makes any sense as to furthering their mission.
So if you actually listen to Elon, Elon pretty much said in a Lex Fridman interview that TESLA Bot doesn't really relate to the mission of accelerating the transition to sustainable energy. Elon said that. That's not the point. And you know, what is this barbs about Elon's ex-wives? What is this anger? There's some really serious anger. Like I wonder if I'm sorry, Ben, I think you need some kind of help. There's something really wrong with you that you have got so much anger towards Elon Musk, who, as far as I can tell, like listen, I'm an Elon Musk fan, right? As I see it, Elon's doing a lot of great things and we should all be excited and having fun watching him. But this point about it not being on the mission, it's not your job to decide what Tesla's mission is. And Tesla isn't diverted from the mission. They're producing more EVs. Right? The goal is to accelerate the transition to sustainable transportation, sustainable energy. They are accelerating the transition. They're producing more vehicles. TESLA Bot doesn't stop them from making more vehicles. The challenge that Tesla's facing in making more vehicles is a chip shortage. There's a supply chain issue with chips. That's the problem. And ultimately, there's going to be a battery problem next year. And they've talked about all this. But Tesla is working very hard on the core mission of making more electric vehicles. And once the chip shortage gets out of the way, they hope to expand Tesla Energy, which also accelerates the transition to sustainable energy.
I think it was Socrates that said, personal insults are the mark of a losing argument. The moment you start attacking a person and not their ideas, you're admitting you've lost the argument. And that is where I have an issue with what Ben had to say. That's the second time he's hit him. He's hit him with the richest man in the world. Now you're talking about his wives. I lose a lot of respect for you if you have to attack someone personally to make your point. So right there, he lost me.
Warren attacked him as well, personally. So this is where I lose Warren a bit. He went a little bit after Ben. Something is wrong with you. He starts going negative real fast after this video. We'll find out. But this is where I get a little bit peeved with his negativity towards the actual person, Ben.
Yeah, this is one where I wouldn't give either one of them any points just for that. I just would call this a 0, or maybe even take a point.
Oh, are we taking points away now?
Really easy to go there in arguments. For example, when he says this is going against Elon Musk's mission, it's really easy for me to jump in and say, well, what's Ford's mission? Well, what's GM's mission? But if you can make your argument without the what ifs or what abouts, I think it's a stronger argument. I do think that Ben seems to have a true contempt for Elon Musk as a person, and that's the filter that he's seeing everything through.
Ben lost that one too, so I'm going to give Warren half a point. I'm not sure what you're doing, but
okay.
So Ben, every company, including Apple, they have 100 projects going on. And just because the CEO is not always like Satya Nadella, is not always saying, hey, look at our cool metaverse stuff we're making. Should they be even wasting their time on this? Of course they should, because they're looking at the next decade. Elon knows that the car business is doing fine, so he has other projects that he's putting time and effort into that are thinking 10 years from now, 15 years from now. I see no problem with it. And Ben saying that this is some stupid project. There's going to be a lot of stupid projects at Tesla. Some of them are going to succeed and some of them are going to fail. Like, that's the bottom line. His argument is completely flawed. Now to Warren went negative. That's my only real problem.
I also agree that Elon Musk does not owe you anything.
Well, as a shareholder, he does owe us something. He owes us that the mission is complete.
I would say he owes us transparency. Any endeavor that you try that's really hard could fail. That's part of how it goes. Elon Musk is not just the CEO of Tesla. And so the bot will help in the factories, but it's also part of the mission to be an interplanetary species. And it's also improving the full self-driving technology. That machine is going to run on the same software that's in the cars, except it's going to have arms and legs instead of wheels.
I'm giving Warren half a point for this one. You said you weren't giving him anything for this one.
Nothing.
Guy Kawasaki was one of the early guys at Apple, and he found that there were 3 things that were really key to a company's longevity and success. First is you have to build a quality product. This is the Apple example, where you know that the iPhone may not be the most innovative product. It may not have the latest and greatest features that are out there, but you know it's going to work extremely well.
I don't know that. I think that Apple iPhones are usually pretty good. They're pretty advanced. They might not have the very, very latest tech, but they're pretty good. But I don't find that iPhones are super high quality. I guess different people have different experiences with it. I keep having to reboot my phone. I keep having problems with my phone. Autocorrect is an absolute freaking disaster. Cameras work great. The phone is terrible. Some of the apps work well. Some of them don't. Apple Maps stinks. Apple Mail stinks. You know, I use the Gmail app instead.
Second leg of our stool here is trust. Now, Apple actually isn't the best at this because they have a lot of weird rules about how to repair their phones and who can repair them and all that. But the example that Guy Kawasaki uses is Zappos, which is a company that has based its whole premise, its whole selling point is that you know that if you have any issues at all, they're going to resolve them.
Just for those of you who don't know, because I wasn't sure, Zappos makes shoes, handbags, apparel, and eyewear. Is this a tech product? You know, this is this really weird comparison that now Tesla is supposed to live up to the customer service standards of somebody who sells shoes, handbags, apparel, and eyewear. And he goes off and he's got this other one that he loves.
Think about Nordstrom's, if you've ever shopped there, where they will go above and beyond to satisfy whatever complaint you have. There is a trust level with Nordstrom's, which is why they can charge more for basically the same product that you can get other places for cheaper. Because you know if you ever have any issues, you can go back there, no questions asked. We'll take that back, that return. I don't even know if you bought it here. We'll exchange it for something else. You know that they've got your back, that you have trust and faith in them. So that is a big selling point in terms of giving them your money.
Nordstrom? So apparently Ben is getting sponsorships from Zappos and Nordstrom or something. I don't. Nordstrom is a retailer. It's not the same thing as a car company or a tech company. It's this odd example of pulling Nordstrom's and Zappos out. And this is that YouTube MBA that he's got a master's in business administration from YouTube because he has a YouTube channel and he makes videos about companies and he thinks he knows what the hell he's talking about. That's not a reasonable comparison. I mean, I don't think Zappos or Nordstrom are trillion-dollar companies. They're not trying to change the world. They just sell products to customers.
Who gets the point?
In my opinion, Warren killed it for himself as soon as he started attacking once again Ben being a YouTube MBA, which is funny. I think that's hilarious, but now you're attacking his personal character because you're on YouTube, you're a former attorney, you're no different than that guy.
Hearing this guy Ben saying these things,
it's dumb.
It's so frustrating that I can see how even me, I can't, if I'm debating this guy, I can't say that I wouldn't start to rip into him. And Warren's points are valid. They're just completely different business models and he's comparing them because it's convenient to his thesis. And this is what I'm getting from Ben. And so I got to give Warren a point.
Sure, give him a point. I only take it away because he's getting more negative. So I don't want to give him a point.
Okay, so
but
no point?
I'm giving him 0 points for this one.
Okay, I'm
just because he went a little bit too negative. Like now he's making fun of like his education. I don't think that's appropriate for the video.
This is not what the YouTube channels should become. I disagree with what this guy said, and I'm going to make a video that's telling you why he needs to take medication or has a mental illness. It's becoming a rap battle.
Well, also just have a discussion without calling people names. I think that's what's important.
Invite him on the show. I would watch that. Warren, invite Ben on the show and have a debate about these issues. One of my favorite videos that was anticlimactic was finally seeing Gordon Johnson on with Rob Maurer. That's the way to do it, is get the two of them there and actually just discuss the ideas and let us watch you guys make your points.
In case you forgot, Ben is a Tesla fan.
And just to be clear, if you're unfamiliar with my background, I've owned Teslas since 2016. I am a huge fan. I've helped thousands of people go electric through my YouTube channel here. I even raised money and delivered a couch personally to Elon Musk when he said he was sleeping in the factory. So yeah, I'm a bit of a fan. And it is upsetting and frustrating when I see them doing this dumb stuff.
He's a fan. He bought him a couch. You know, you can see, like, I think he thinks they owe him something because he bought them a couch. He raised money. And he didn't even buy him the couch. He got other people to give him money so he could buy a couch and bring it over. Because I'm a Tesla fan. I'm an Elon fan. I'm a SpaceX fan. I'm getting excited about Starship tonight. I don't find myself routinely bashing Tesla. If you're a fan of Tesla, why the hell are you bashing Tesla? You're not a fan.
I think we can already respond to this. What do you think?
I think he's right. I think that's the right word. That is what bashing a company looks like. I'm not a fan. He lost a lot of credibility with me.
Okay, so who gets the point?
Warren gets the point there.
I'm actually going to give Ben the half a point for this.
Really? Why?
And that's my first half a point for Ben. The reason is because Warren once again went negative. Oh, you did this as a fan? You gave him a couch? Yeah. Warren, you didn't give him a couch. This guy brought him the couch, okay? So you can't be bashing somebody for actually doing something positive. He actually did something positive, even though it was funny and it was part of YouTube. He didn't do a negative thing, okay?
Okay, I disagree with that. I do disagree with that. This is what I think Warren would say. His response is warranted because although Ben wasn't being as aggressive in the words, right, that Warren was saying, the ideas that he was presenting was so offensive to Warren that he felt that response was equivalent. What Ben is saying is so just utterly untrue, and it's revealing more of his own contempt for Elon Musk than it is trying to educate his audience. Now he's actively trying to use his power of his audience to shift the way people see Elon Musk. And that I agree with Warren, you shouldn't do.
Yeah, but Warren's doing the same thing for Ben. Didn't you see the way he's shifting the negativity towards Ben? And the last couple of questions, he's getting more and more negative, if you haven't noticed.
He is.
It's not less and less negative. It's
He is.
more and more negative. He's not a fan anymore. It's obvious.
If this is what's making it in the video, imagine what was not in the video. You know, for both of them, this is them both toning it down.
You're very clearly an Elon Musk hater and a Tesla hater. Why do you keep telling people you're a fan when you're very clearly not a fan? You've got some serious anger issues and you need to deal with it. And what is going on? There's something about the way he looks in these video. He's just like amped up. I don't know if he's doing coke or what the hell's going on. He's like wound up, amphetamines or something. I'm not saying that's true. I got this feel from watching him that there's something really disturbed.
Okay, I mean, I think Warren just lost 2 points for me.
I was just going to say the same thing. It's like in boxing. You hit a low blow, you stop the fight, and you take the point away. You're right. Here's the thing, Warren, you're right. And you're ruining your own case by attacking the guy personally. If you just stick to the facts and tear apart his arguments, you'll dismantle that whole video. But for that, that's a 2-point deduction.
As soon as you attack somebody verbally, personally,
Yeah.
you've lost all credibility. Like, even the rest of the video, it puts a bad taste in my mouth that you went there. Like, that doesn't even make sense to discuss Tesla in that respect.
It becomes this sort of backyard game of dozens where you're just trying to diss people and get everyone to laugh.
Look at the number of people who've seen this so far, 20,000. He has an audience of 64,000. Who knows if there's one lunatic amongst his audience who's going to go out and start attacking Ben or knows where he lives or whatever. We're on the internet, first of all. Like, it's just not a safe place all the time.
You lost me. Sorry, Warren.
Minus 2 points. What's the score?
Right now, on my scorecard, it's 4.5 to 0.5. On yours, it's 2-1.
Ben is catching up only because Warren went negative.
Right, exactly. There you go.
Tesla has and continues to completely neglect their existing customer base. And as such, they ranked second to last in the latest consumer reports on car reliability and almost last in the first ever the unveiling of the J.D. Power reliability study.
This is a very common tactic that Tesla haters will use is you cherry pick data. Now, here's the reality about Tesla. Tesla scores very high for brand loyalty. You can search Tesla brand loyalty on Google. This is what you will find. That Tesla is the most valuable car company, 3 brand loyalty awards, has the most loyal customers, highest customer loyalty of all car brands. Why do you leave that out? Why would a company that Tesla is leaving their customers behind, why would the customers have so much loyalty? And here's Barron's talking about, and this is a fairly recent article. This is Tony Sacconaghi, who is one of Tesla's biggest critics on Wall Street, surveyed 450 Tesla owners and found that 79% are very likely to buy another Tesla. Almost 80% is incredibly high. Lexus led the report with 48% of owners replacing their prior car with another Lexus. So Tesla is off the charts on customer loyalty, and Ben talks like customers are massively dissatisfied with the company.
Well, there you go. This one's an easy one.
I think they both lose a point.
What?
Okay, Warren, Tesla brand loyalty has nothing to do with service. Most Tesla cars that are on the road right now, I think, are from the original owner. And having brand loyalty, of course, because they're all the first-time buyers. So your argument of brand loyalty combating their service issues, I object. Throw that argument out.
Ben's evidence for it is really weak because he's going to Consumer Reports. If you learned anything on the internet recently, is that Consumer Reports is funded by the car manufacturers, the old school ICE manufacturers. So we cannot believe Consumer Reports and what they're saying right now. He's talking to his audience like they don't know this. And even though Warren is not exactly talking point for point, at least he is going back to facts as opposed to just attacking Ben. So I'm giving him half a point for that one.
Ben's overall point is correct. But again, there's a negative connotation to the way he's spinning it that is above just reporting the facts that I have issues.
No, and it's also not giving you the sources that are accurate. These are the ones we know that are sort of already flawed. His whole motto is free the data. This is some fake data.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm going to say.
But it's another example of the previous Warren one. In this case, Ben is actually right. And you're ruining your own case by trying to spin it. You're killing your own winning argument by trying to force your opinion into that argument.
I think you've convinced me that both deserve 0 points because they both cherry pick their arguments, not exactly discussing the main issue about service.
Right.
So I take away that half a point, buddy.
Zero.
It's gone.
Lots of rants about Tesla service.
Because Tesla puts in ridiculous policies to prop up their quarterly earnings and screw people out of their money.
Sounds like a Tesla fan, doesn't he? That it's all about quarterly earnings. And this is one of those things that like Wall Street hates Tesla because Tesla's not driven by quarterly earnings. And they're critical of Elon because he's not driven by quarterly earnings. But apparently Ben knows better that Tesla's driven by quarterly earnings. And
I'm going to stop it here because I'm going to give this one to Ben. They are driven by quarterly earnings. We all know that Q3, Q4 especially, that there are problems with the cars because they're trying to crank them out because they do care about the quarterly earnings. I mean, they're a company. What's wrong with that? I don't even find that as an issue, but Warren is actually saying they don't care about quarterly earnings.
Ben presented the case that they're concerned about quarterly earnings as if it's a fact. He's stating his own opinion as a fact increasingly in this video and making bigger and bigger grandiose statements. These are the 12 common logical fallacies that people commit in arguments, and what they're both committing is an ad hominem. Ever been in a fight and catch yourself attacking the other person rather than focusing on the content of the argument? It happens. Ad hominem is Latin for to the man or person, and in this situation refers to one person attacking the other in order to advance an argument. This kind of fallacy is best combated by focusing on the logic and validity of the argument instead of making it about the person. Separate the claims from the person making the claim.
Focus on quarterly profits has been a big thing for Elon Musk for a long time. And it all seems to spawn right around the time when his compensation package was tied to that, which is typical for CEOs. And this is where Tesla is falling into the trap that all other public companies have, which is being very short-sighted at the expense of their customers.
so this is like a really dumb thing because remember Ben was talking about Apple and how Apple's sort of a model to be followed, but Apple's the largest public company. And I would say that almost anyone who watches Tesla would say that Elon Musk is completely different from any other CEO. He's not driven by quarterly earnings. Elon owns like 20-25% of the company. He's driven by the long-term prospects of the company. I haven't seen anybody who's more driven by the long-term prospects of the company. On the one hand, he's focused on short-term earnings. On the other hand, he's pursuing a project for a Tesla bot that no one expects to sell units to customers for a couple years. That's a forward-thinking guy who's looking about the future of the company. FSD is not a short-term thing. It's a long-term thing. So Ben is just talking out his ass. He's not making any sense at all here.
I think we could respond to this immediately. I mean, once again, Warren went immediately negative, calling him dumb. That's not how you win arguments. I think Warren is more right, actually, so I'm going to give him a half a point.
I still give Warren a full point for this one. It's so frustrating to hear such utter lies. Elon Musk is probably the most forward-looking CEO of anyone on the planet. He is trying to create a colony in Mars that he probably will never be alive to enjoy. What other person do you know dedicates their entire life, which you only get one, at something you'll never really get to appreciate yourself? Elon Musk could have taken the money from the sale of PayPal and just lived on an island and retired like MySpace Tom right now all over Instagram, but he didn't. He took all of his money and started 2 companies, borrowed the money for the rent the next month, and has been doing nothing but sleep and eat and think about these companies. Elon Musk, to me, is the epitome of this photo. This is how a lot of companies are ran. The boss is in the back pushing the people. Elon Musk is the guy that's in the front leading the people into battle.
We know Elon Musk is aiming for the future, and it's not all about the quarterly reports, but it's also about the quarterly reports. It can be both. This is what's weird. You can have a business and care about the quarters and care about 10 years from now. We're discussing in the Discord with everybody here, Joe Buslife and Pilot 518, about this very topic. Is Warren correct or is Ben Sullins more correct? And I think the consensus between everybody in the Discord so far is like they both have their points, but they're just sort of too negative on the Ben Sullins side. And honestly, Warren is hurting his own argument by just attacking the character of Ben Sullins, which I think is totally wrong. Obviously, we have things for everybody. It's free to join. But the one thing, if you are a Patreon member, and we have a couple of new members that are joining, thank you very much. I think Sonny Coates was the last one to join. Member updates, videos that we're doing specifically for members. We're going to have all our trades. There's more going on with episodes, but let's see what Carlos bought last time. He actually bought coin. Interesting. 5 shares.
Come on, it was on the $200.
I know, I was thinking about it. But yes, you get to see what we're actually doing, what we're trading, what we're buying, and follow all of that. We have special episodes for you guys covering stocks further in depth than we do on our regular videos. So if you want to join, it is $1 to start joining and participating with us on a higher level, and $4.20, which is less than a cup of coffee still, right?
Come on.
And join up, help us out, and let's grow this channel together, guys.
Calling Tesla short-sighted? Tesla is the most forward-thinking company I'm aware of out there. It's just dumb. It's also interesting how Ben will very quickly dismiss people who are happy customers. Listen to this.
And if you're one of those people listening that is like, oh my God, what are you talking about? You're crazy. I've had only the best thing ever. First off, just want to welcome you for being a new owner and tell you that there's a saying that my friend Rich Rebuilds has, which is just give it time.
So he's just absolutely dismissive of people who've had good experiences with Tesla. Now, the reality is, and Zach Kirkhorn acknowledged this, there were certain areas of the country that did not have sufficient service locations, had other problems, and they had issues. Lots of the country was fine. And there's been improvement all over the place, and they focused on improving the places that had the biggest problems. But, Ben talks about it like this problem is never going away. Tesla doesn't care. Tesla's not doing anything about it. And, it's very frustrating that I watched Zach Kirkhorn address this in depth in the Q3 investor call.
So there was a tweet I did send out to Warren. Ben Sullins is starting a support group for Tesla fans who don't like Tesla. Okay, so he said that. I answered, you're all feeding the perception that you're all just fanboys. Why not listen to some of the valid points? Yes, Tesla does need better customer service and more service stations. I do own a Tesla as well and love it. Both can exist. Crazy. And yes, I am buying more stock. Someone actually agreed with me? Great. And then Warren goes on because he's showing he's such a Tesla bull apologizer almost for Tesla. He says Tesla addresses those valid points in the Q3 investor call. No one who complains about service bothered to listen to what they said.
This is Zachary Kirkhorn addressing the question about service. I will take the service part of this question. Drew, you can take the supercharging part. We have seen an increase in service wait times throughout the summer, and there's a couple of things that have contributed to that based on the information that we had. The first is that I think this is not unique to us, is that the return to some sense of normalcy in post-pandemic world has happened, I think, more quickly than most people expected. And what we're seeing here is that the number of miles that people are driving has increased. There may have been some demand for service during 2020 or in the early parts of 2021 that customers put off. And so there's a bit of catch-up that's occurring and has increased demand for service. At the same time, in the macro environment here, logistics, moving parts, sourcing parts has become increasingly more difficult, which is a well-known issue in the world right now, as well as challenges in the labor market. And so there's this simultaneous increase in demand for service where the ability to supply that service has been impacted for the reasons I mentioned. And so we saw an uptick primarily in Europe and North America in service wait times over the course of the summer, and we've been working extremely hard since then to address this. And we've seen our wait times come down. So this is not the case in every location, but if you think about it from a regional average perspectives, we are seeing improvements there. We remain super focused on adding locations, and so over the last year, we've grown our physical footprint of service centers by 35%. We've grown our footprint of mobile repair by over 40%. We're also adding staffing as quickly as we can in the areas that are most impacted by the imbalance of supply and demand for service. But I think the most important part about all this is, and we've said this on calls before, where the best service is no service. And so we have been incredibly focused as a company, both on the initial quality of our vehicles and reliability of our vehicles. And we've seen pretty substantial improvements in both of those metrics over the long term and over the last couple of quarters. So it is something that remains on our minds. We monitor this very closely, but hopefully that's a helpful explanation into the context of what we're doing.
He's saying that, yes, they've addressed these valid points in Q3. My point is being sort of an apologizer for Tesla not doing as much as they can because they know how fast they're growing. Elon has been projecting 50% minimum, by the way, keep saying it, minimum growth year over year. You cannot grow 35% your service if you're projecting 50% plus, and now it's been 80%, so it's even crazier. That means if we did some math on this, like there's gonna be millions more cars and way fewer service stations for those cars per car. At some point, it becomes untenable that if you do have a problem, even if you have a reliable car, you're gonna need service and you just will not be able to get it.
To the point of Zachary and the earnings call is they're focusing more on the initial quality so that over the next few years, the amount of vehicles that need service goes down.
Yeah, but right now, currently, if you drive to any Tesla center, it's packed to the gills. If I go to a mechanic right now to change something, I'm out of there in a couple of hours. Maybe it takes a day, usually, like brakes or something like that. Go ahead and try to do that with your Tesla center and get it all done in a couple of hours. Mm-hmm. It's not going to happen. I personally have never had issues until he says just the 12 volt died. And then he says he has an issue, which is funny. Mobile replaced it a couple of days later. So remember, if your 12 volt battery dies, your car's not going anywhere, right? It died on Friday evening, so I didn't like it, but I understand it was the weekend. I'm glad it was the weekend, nothing happens. But if you're waiting 2-3 days for your vehicle that you've paid 60, 70, 100,000 for, that's a real problem. You know, I can change the battery right now. I can go to anybody within an hour, it's done. I can go to Pep Boys and it's done. And if they're not willing to change everything, there should be just licensed third parties that it's easier to get to do these things like brakes, batteries, whatever is simple enough for somebody not to touch, like the BMS. I'm not saying that, but there are lots of things on a car that can be done by other people. It's not like Tesla has to do every single thing. This is an important discussion that I think Warren is sort of leaving out of his, I'm a total bull, you're wrong, they've already talked about this, they're fixing it.
I think Ben being overly critical of Tesla's service is equally as wrong as Warren being overly apologetic for Tesla's service. This is me trying to be in the middle. When you listen to what Zachary was saying on the earnings call, I don't blame them for downplaying publicly some of this. You have to understand, Tesla by and large is a very transparent company, and Elon Musk by and large is a really transparent kind of guy. But Tesla receives an abnormal amount of FUD. So I do think that they would want to be more forthcoming about the issues that people are having in service, but strategically they understand that if they were to come out and be as transparent about this as they've been with other things, that's going to be latched on by the media and drag Tesla through the mud.
The customer coming in now, they're not thinking, oh, Tesla has these growing issues. They're not even thinking about the service centers. Most customers don't think that way. They remember the old mechanic, that they have a mechanic down the street.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of them are thinking, oh, he'll handle most of what everything is. And then they come to find out that, well, they're going to fix it, but it's going to take you a week or 2 or a month. And you're like, I just paid $60,000 for this car. They need more service centers. That's it.
This particular issue is a really tricky one because Tesla is not doing the right thing. We can all admit they're not doing the right thing. They're doing what they need to sell as many vehicles as possible. I do believe that this is a transitory period. It's not going to be this way forever. I don't know. It's a tricky one. No points.
Okay, moving on. No points.
A company just thinks they can grow their way out of all their problems. Sales cures all until it doesn't. You see, the problem is that you can cancel these other dumb projects. You can stop doing this Tesla bot. You can stop this nonsense with full self-driving, but you can't cancel these bad experiences.
Well, you certainly can't cancel the bad experiences if asshats like Ben Sullins exaggerate.
He's already lost it. I mean, like, why? Ben Sullins already had a terrible argument that he was continuing. Warren kills it.
Let's just let him finish. Let's just let him finish.
But you can't cancel these bad experiences.
Well, you certainly can't cancel the bad experiences if asshats like Ben Sullins exaggerate every single one of them. There's like three or four bad customer service stories out there that Ben Sullins and Now You Know and a few other people just keep ranting about. Look, if there's 2.5 million vehicles delivered and 1% of them have a problem, right? That's 25,000 problems. Okay, that means if you're 99% great, right? If you hit 99% of the time, then you've got 25,000 bad stories, and that's just inevitable. It's not that somehow Ben Sullins, if he was running Tesla, they would somehow have better than 99% customer service. This is silly.
Okay. That's plenty of information to respond to.
What do you think?
He just ruined it immediately by calling him an asshat. That's really what got to me. But his other points are great. He went low, and I'm giving them 0 points because he went low, even though he was right at the end of the statement.
I'm going to give him half a point because he's so right on that. His argument is so sound when you get rid of the asshat comment, which I don't think, again, is necessary. You're batting 300 in baseball, you're in the Hall of Fame. Tesla is producing 99% of their vehicles perfectly and 1% has a problem. I don't think that it excuses the problems, but Warren's point is sound. 99% is not good enough.
He brings it to Now You Know.
You add in other people that have also had these stories, and then what do you have? You have a growing infection of the community, this kind of rotting core of people out there, this big kind of negative sentiment that Tesla makes crap cars. And I'm not the only one saying it. We have some of Tesla's staunchest supporters out there talking about these issues because they need to hear this.
See, this is Now You Know. See, what happens is you have a couple of stories and you have a couple of platforms that have big audiences and they spread one negative story and it sounds like there's 10,000 negative stories out there. Ben made no effort here to quantify how big the problem is. Now You Know made no effort to quantify how big the problem is. Zach Kirkhorn addressed it. Neither one of them seems to have listened to what Zach Kirkhorn said. Zach Kirkhorn said, yes, we had a problem. We fixed it. We are making better.
He did not say that. He did not say we fixed it.
Right.
They do have a problem. This is my point. He keeps apologizing for Tesla instead of saying, hey, dude, it's a great company. And yes, 1% of the vehicles need to be fixed. We need more service centers. Where's this middle ground where reasonable investors can say that? Yeah, he can't even mention it.
He's not wrong about the fact that one bad story covered by 2 or 3 or 4 YouTubers with big audiences can amplify a problem and make it seem like a big issue in a company that's really just a bad experience of one customer.
Yeah, I'm taking away a point from Ben, and I'm taking away a point from Warren. So I'm not sure where we are right now, but I'll give you a reason for it.
Okay.
Ben, he's blowing it out of proportion. Like it's this bigger issue that is systemic that's going to ruin the company. That's totally false.
Use the word infection.
It's more FUD by a Tesla Q, apparently, which I'm on Warren's side in that case. It seems like he's becoming a Tesla Q. Who knows why? I don't care. Warren, instead of saying, you know what, they do have issues. They do have to fix this, but this is a smaller issue than you're making it out. But he's not. Well, as soon as he hears the word Tesla, he's like a bull in a china shop, and he has to attack no matter what.
What the earnings call said to make it sound better than it was. The guy
Yes.
did not say it's fixed. And I don't think you're doing Tesla or Elon Musk any service by pretending like it's a smaller problem than it is. And in as much as Ben is not doing any service, pretending like it's a bigger problem than it is. It doesn't change my investment horizon for Tesla. I can't imagine hitting the sell button on Tesla, right? I can't even.
Oh, yeah. No, but I mean, I'm not going to fight everybody who talks negatively about Tesla because it's a waste of my time.
That would only affect you if you're looking to sell anytime soon. Like, I would say that if someone
He's getting up in the years. He's getting up in years.
All right, but watch when someone attacks Enphase, Vitaly. Watch when someone attacks. Let me see.
It's-
You're right. You see?
it's-
You see?
Like how
Ben rambling incoherently.
And the third leg of the stool here is likability. And Guy Kawasaki used the example of Richard Branson, who we all know from the Virgin Group that owns 1,000 companies, I guess, at this point. But the thing about Richard Branson is that he is an incredibly likable guy. Yes, he is a showman and all these things. But in the example he used in the book, Guy Kawasaki was in the back of a green room before a conference, and he was there talking about how he's never flown Virgin Atlantic or America or whatever because he's a big United customer. He's been a longtime member or whatever. Richard Branson gets on his hands and knees and starts polishing Guy Kawasaki's shoes in order to convince him to take one flight on Virgin America.
That's a story. Richard Branson kissed a rich guy's ass to get him to fly on his airline. What does this have to do with running a company? What does this have to do with Tesla being likable or not likable? This is okay. You can tell Richard Branson stories. How is this meaningful? Do you want Elon to come polish your shoes, Ben? Is this what's going on? You want Elon to come polish your shoes? What is this? Where is this story going? How does this story make any sense? I know where it's going. He's going to say that Elon's not likable, but let's hear a little bit more.
Obviously, that won him over. And since then, until Virgin America got sold, he was a huge supporter and fan of them because they were very likable. Everything was nice. Everything was a bit elevated. They were really going that extra mile. So to enchant and keep customers, which is the foundation of reaching the early and then major majority, the big chunk of people out there, you need all of these things. You need a quality product that people know is going to work. You need trust that if there is an issue, if something happens, they are going to take care of you. They will make it right no matter what.
It's just like a word salad of Ben just repeating the same BS over and over again. Here's Ben saying that Elon's not likable, which I find comical because if anybody's not likable in this story, it's Ben. Maybe it's me. But the one thing I'll say is I think Elon's likable. We'll get into that.
And then, of course, likability. I don't know if I even need to comment on this, but Elon is sort of a maniac and is, putting up memes and assaulting women, being a misogynist.
Elon's assaulting women? How did Ben just sort of drop that Elon's assaulting? Since when is Elon assaulting women?
Okay, I think it's enough we can actually respond. Go ahead.
I was going to say before Warren said it, the irony of someone talking about how unlikable Elon is, being so unlikable while they're doing it. What Ben is doing is like borderline bullying.
Steve Jobs is not a likable person. There's enough stories and books and people's interactions with him. Nobody liked the man. They respected him. Maybe we just need to respect Elon. We don't need to like him.
I don't think it matters. There's some CEOs that it does. I would say that likability affects someone like Mark Zuckerberg more than it affects Elon Musk. It affects someone like Jeff Bezos more than it affects. It didn't affect Steve Jobs. For this likability one, I take a point from Ben. And
You're taking
yeah,
did he even have a point with you or no?
I'm going to give Warren a full point. I agree with him.
He's been doing this for a long time. And look, as an individual, I support free speech. But, maybe when you're the leader of a just cause, you should pause and think about whether or not this tweet, this comment, this whatever is going to help or hurt it. Because here's the thing. I know tons of people that would love to own Teslas, but they can't stand Elon. And I don't blame him. His behavior online over the past several years has really made him an easy guy to hate.
Elon has grown his Twitter following. He now has 73 million followers on Twitter. He hosted Saturday Night Live, and it was the best performance of the best numbers for Saturday Night Live of any performance of the year, except I think for Dave Chappelle. I think it was Dave Chappelle. There's one other show that did better than in terms of ratings than the one with Elon. Elon is extreme. The comedy is that this guy thinks he can talk to Elon about what's likable. You're a piece of shit. I don't know, Ben. You're like totally unlikable, and you're criticizing Elon. Elon's extremely likable. I know a lot of women who like him. The idea that Elon is somehow misogynist or anti-women or assaults women. What was that? That was just out there. So basically, what's going on is Ben doesn't like Elon, and therefore Elon is not likable. And this goes back to this YouTube MBA, this hubris that comes from being a successful YouTuber. Is all of a sudden you're qualified to make these judgments. It's pretty obvious to anyone who's looking at objective measures that Elon with 73 million followers on Twitter is extremely popular. He says he knows people who won't buy a Tesla because of Elon. I know women who want to sleep with Elon. I mean, as far as I can tell, he's extremely popular. His efforts at branding are extremely successful. And, you know, is he perfect? No. Does he offend some people? Sometimes, I suppose so. But the practical reality is the guy's trying to cure brain disease. He's trying to get humanity to Mars and to the moon. And he's accelerating the transition to sustainable energy. He's doing all kinds of great things. And for some reason, Ben doesn't like Elon, and therefore Elon is not likable. No, Ben, you're not likable. I had so many people asking me to make this video, taking you down for your shots at Elon and your shots at Tesla. You are massively unlikable. Deal with it. Elon is hugely likable because he's funny and he's entertaining and he doesn't take himself that seriously. You take yourself way too seriously. Take a chill pill. And boy, some of the things you said about Elon, you know, you said Elon is assaulting women. Ben, have you done something with women that you regret? The way you dropped that one that came totally out of nowhere, it sounds like maybe you've done something wrong with women, Ben. Do you want to admit something, Ben? What'd you do, Ben? Well, that's our show for today.
Okay. I mean, this one he went off his fucking rocker.
I mean, in his defense, if there is any, his audience asked him to do it. His audience asked him, take this guy down. That was so far off the deep end. I felt like I was watching a bunch of little kids arguing, and I'm thinking to myself the whole time, like, how did two guys from Brooklyn become the sensible voice in the middle of this kind of a conversation?
Warren is correct in almost everything he's responded to Ben about. And Ben is like a Tesla Q now. These are like final thoughts.
Yeah.
But the problem is, he just called him a womanizer. I'm not sure what he exactly said, but he said, Ben, you might have done something with women. These are serious like things to say to someone when you have the power to edit. But for me, he's lost all his points. He just went to zero.
Warren?
Literally just went to zero. Warren and Ben, they both dropped to zero.
Ben's comments, I would say they cross the legal definition of defamation and slander. But you don't combat slander with more slander and then accuse that guy of having issues with women and no one benefits from this conversation. At the end of the day, there were some really good points, and I think if you edit down Warren's points, you've got a great takedown video. I would agree with you that Warren was probably right 85-90% of the time, maybe even more.
Yeah, okay, so if we have to pick a winner, I'll give it to Warren because he was more right in the points. Instead of saying they're both down to zero, I say Warren has a half a point at the end of this and Ben has zero.
Ben owes me 2.5 points.
But I hope you join us on our Patreon. It's literally $1 a month to join and have a private Discord discussion as well with us. $4.20 for the guys who just like the green bean a little bit. $7.99 if you want a little bit more information. We are now talking about real estate, by the way. So anyone interested in investing in real estate, my God, there's massive discussions now on buying multifamily properties, okay? We're obviously going crazy about Enphase, EVs, and Tesla. So there's going to be a lot of Tesla content, and we're talking about it all day. Join us. For the Patreon members, you have special stuff like our trades. We go into that. And in fact, I think I bought a little bit more PayPal Yeah, 100 more shares of PayPal.
Look at that, 122.
You're getting some Spotify. You have some coin that's going on.
Yep.
We have Patreon-only episodes we're posting, and we hope you guys continue this discussion with us.
That's what we think. We really want to know what you guys think. So comment below, join us on the Discord, enter the channels, and give your opinion. And we'll see you out there.